Hello, welcome back to 3D Drawing for Model Railway. Continuing on with the power handling vehicle, we're going to start on the actual rail handling machine part of it. This is where it's going to start to get really complicated. First of all, because obviously it's a difficult part to model. Secondly, the plans I've got for it aren't particularly detailed. Some of the measurements are missing, so there will be a little bit of guesstimation working from photographs. But in general, it's just going to be quite a difficult part, really. So we're going to try and do our best, and hopefully it'll look something like the real thing. But obviously, if you need to make tweaks or whatever, feel free to do so. Obviously, it's your model as well. So let's give it a go and see where we get. So making a start in Fusion, first thing, let's get the canvas on, which has the basic outline of the part that we're doing. Again, it's not particularly detailed, and that's all there is on there that's of any use. There's nothing down the bottom, so this is sort of basic where we're going to be working from. We're going to create a new component, and I'm going to give it the name RHV. Okay, obviously make sure the radio button's checked, and then within that I'm going to create an offset plane that's going to be the I'm going to create a mid plane. It's going to be the midpoint of the wagon, just so that we know that we're working on the same point. I've created that mid plane there. Canvas back on, and I'm going to create a sketch on that mid plane. So, as I said, a lot of the details are missing, so we're just going to try and flesh it out as best we can. So I'm going to start top corner there. I'm just creating a rectangle. It's going to come down to the same height as this base unit and the same length as the overall part. Dimension, let's go from the bottom corner to the, let's actually not do that bit. Escape. So I'm going to go from that bottom corner. I'm going to go to the bottom corner of the wagon just so it's easier to follow. Okay, so we're going to call that 29.3 millimeters, and then the height of it to the same point, 2.3 millimeters. Okay, so overall height, as I said, the plans aren't the greatest, but it's got 105.5 inches from the floor to the top point. So if we do from there to the floor, 105.5 inches divided by 148 will give us the overall height, which is 18.11 millimeters. The overall length, again, the image that I'm working from is honestly, it's absolute rubbish. It looks a bit like 8,548 millimeters. That's centimeters. It's either mils or centimeters, but it's not particularly clear. If we just work from the plan here, let's go for 58.25 millimeters in length, and then obviously we're just going to work it around there. So just looking at this, I've just been trying to work out, get my head around what's going on, and I've realised that the scale drawing is actually of a slightly different version of the rail handling machine. So what I'm going to try and do is add in a photo as a canvas here, and see if that will help to make this look better. So let's think what file we're going for. That's going to be on there and there. set 11, 6. We'll put that on the mid plane that we just had. Edit the canvas. It looks like it needs to be rotated 180. Let's see if we can increase this to 10. Let's get rid of that canvas. Okay, so now I'm going to try moving it. Okay, it's probably slightly too big there, so 0.9 scale here. Why has it disappeared? What's happened there? Probably need to scale that a little bit more. That's on the bottom edge there. Matches that drawing. That's maybe a little bit too tall. Let's go scale this again to 0.9. Probably not far off there. Okay, so you're going to have to follow along with the drawing on this, unfortunately. I can't share this picture with you. Let's change the opacity on this one, bring that down so it's a little less visible. Okay, and then we can go back into that sketch to edit this. this is probably going to be the best way to do this. Okay, so let's use line tool. We're going to chop off this bit at the end. Okay, and then we're going to use the line tool here, I think. So we're going to come across. Okay, so got some various different lines, so I'm going to start adding some movement dimension to them. Move that in slightly. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is start constraining some things. I'm going to vertically constrain. Don't want to do that. In fact, if we go into one, we do have the height of this part here, which is 37 centimeters. So that part there is 37. So we can dimension that. 37 centimeters divided by 1.8. Then we're going to have to vertically constrain that to that. So we've got 2.5 on the height there. We're going to go for dimension there, 7.9. This dimension, we're going for 2.18. Put an angle in there of 105, and then an angle in there of 105 as well. That will then give us an angle here. It's probably going to be the same as 105. Gives us a length here of 26. The height from there to there, 1.6 millimeters. We need to constrain from that point to that point. We'll go for 11.5, and from that point to the end of the box, 3.33. That's constrained all of those pieces. That distance looks like it's 2.2. That keeps that where it is, and then we vertically constrain that height to that height. We know that that's going to be the same height as that then. dimension in there of 5. Angle 145. That height constraining is 3.25. That's then constrained that piece. Angle in there of 76. Length on that piece is 5. That needs to be 1.46. 2.48. 1.1. Angle on the inside of 165. That's constrained that piece already. An angle in there of 130. And then height from there to there as 0.5 mil. And then we can turn off that canvas. Okay, so that's going to give us the basic shape. So if we then select these two pieces, it's that centre piece that we've just drawn, and then we're going to extrude that, and we're going to do it symmetrically. And do we have the overall width? Which is 97.5 inches. So 97.5 divided by 148. That's got to be inches in there, not that number. So that's gone 16.73. So I'm just going to take that out now. 16.73 divided by 2. And that gives us the width symmetrically. Create the new body. Turn the canvas off. That's given us the basic side-on shape. Okay, so now we have to create the profile looking down the wagon. So I'm going to create an offset plane on the front face here, and draw a sketch on that face, and project on all of this lot. And then we can work around what we're looking at from that point. So I can't show you this next bit, but there is a slight diagonal movement on the wagon, and it's 112 centimeters up. So that's 1220. 1220. Again, why is it doing 1220 divided by 148, which coincidentally falls bang on that profile there. That's 8.24 high. It doesn't show the next angle, but the next part is 700 mil high. I think that line needs to be in slightly. So I'm just going to draw a line from there at that height. I'm not putting a dimension on that quite yet. The next piece coming across has a dimension of 50 mil, 500 mil, sorry. Again, it doesn't have a height on it, unfortunately. the next one is, snap that please. The next one has a dimension of 63 centimeters. Again, that piece is going to have to come down. Okay, let's just put a constraint in there. So that should be vertically constrained to that piece. And that will be constrained to the top. And now we've got a line from there to the midpoint. And that is 110 millimeters. Okay, so now what we don't have, we've got all the sizes, what we don't have is the angles, unfortunately. So there we're going to have to sort of play around until we get that looking how we want. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is mirror this across. So I'm going to create a line down the middle here, and then do mirror. The mirror line will be that line I've just drawn, and then the object lines I'm going to create by selecting, holding control down, selecting these ones we've drawn on the outside. So whatever we do now on one side will affect the other. And if we look at this image, we've obviously got short, shallow angle, steeper, and then shallow again. So we just want to try and create something that looks a little bit like that. Put an angle in here. We go for 165. Don't know why that's changed. 165. That probably creates something like what we're looking for. And then if we select the profiles here outside of the shape we've drawn and right click extrude, you can then cut these all off the rest of the body. I think that gives us some sort of shape as to what we're looking for. Now, I don't think it's a million miles away from what we're looking at. Obviously there's a difference around the front of the cab here, and we may find we have to alter some things when we come to draw things like cab windows, etc. But obviously we can interrogate this as we move on through the rest of the sketch. I'd say it wasn't going to be an easy episode, so hopefully you've been able to follow along and you've agreed with the choices I've made. Obviously if you feel that you're not happy with it, then you can go and change it however you feel best. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that episode, and thanks for watching.